I'll leave and come back again.
Okay.
Oh
my gosh. Freaking dogs. Now I'm all right because I feel embarrassed.
Eventually.
Hey, better.
Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Kim. How are you doing?
Oh, all right. Now, better now. It's yeah. I've obviously, normally I've got terrible internet here because I'm in the middle of nowhere, and it's always, rubbish. So, are you actually recording a video on this?
I am.
Or just audio?
It's audio and video, but if you don't want the video, I can totally take out the video and just do the audio.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's only because I've got my shades on. Because I haven't got any makeup on, so there you go. So that's it. I've put my shades on.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't either. So.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But, yeah. Oh, I love all the guitars in the background.
Yeah, thanks.
Are they yours?
No, it's actually just a background that I found. These are the guitars I eventually want, but right now I just have
I see. So you're not actually sitting there with them.
No. It's exciting, but I wanted to be like a little bit, feel like a little rock star. So I got all
these. It looks great. Yeah. Shows what I know about internet and all this technology stuff. I'm rubbish.
But I know we had a little bit of a rocky start, but how's it going so far besides our Zoom little exciting adventure we just had?
Well, yeah. I mean, doing all this Zoom stuff is actually doing my head in because I'm not very good at it. All I seem to be doing is pressing buttons and trying to go into different rooms. And every time I'm doing one, but I normally get there in the end. But it's all going really well. In fact, better than we could ever have hoped. Really, we're quite amazed.
So I have to ask, because I know that it's been a while since your last album. What has the band kind of been up to since the last album?
Well, for us, time doesn't seem to exist like normal. I don't know why. We just seem to be in some sort of, I don't know, time bubble thing or something, because it just, it doesn't feel like we've been together 45 years, that's for sure. And of course, it doesn't feel like the album was 8 years ago. I keep thinking, it was only about 3 or 4 years, until it gets pointed out that it wasn't. And so we just don't know where the time went. Although, of course, 2 years were taken up with the COVID thing anyway, wasn't it? So that's that out of the way for 2 years. But we just can't believe, well, obviously time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So we must have been having a lot of fun over the past 45 years.
I have to ask, 45 years is a really long time. Like, that's a really long relationship. What's the secret to still loving making music and staying in a band for that long?
Well, I don't know. 2 things probably: stubbornness and stupidity. So, make of that what you will. But yeah, just I don't know. Just never giving up. Really, we don't see any reason to. I mean, as long as we're wanted. And we're still enjoying it, and even still going to places that we'd never even dreamed that we'd be going to. Even in all these years, we keep thinking, we must have been sort of everywhere, really. But it was only about 5 years ago that we'd actually gone to Australia for the first time. So there's still things and places to go, out there.
Right. Talking about traveling and going places, are there any plans for like any sort of tour?
Well, yes, but we've only just finished. Well, that was in February. That only seems like yesterday, but we did a British tour in February, so we won't be doing one of them this year. I think they're already rescheduling another one for next year. But it seems like it seems a bit strange. We're having this album out, and we're not touring anywhere. We're not really playing. We've just done a few festivals and things, but there's no actual touring. So that seems really strange. So they're doing it all for next year. So, of course, by the time we get to tour next year, it'll be 46 years.
Yeah, that's quite a while. And I have to ask...
We have to add on another one.
For the album cover, for the background photo, who kind of that idea? Is there like something behind it?
What you mean, the leather jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, the record company came up with that idea, and after a few others that we didn't like, And I kept thinking to myself, I'm sure I've seen that somewhere before. And of course, yes, on the cover of our Nothing to Lose single, which was out in God knows, I don't know, 40 odd years ago, it was virtually the same. It was the back of a woman in a black leather jacket with studs and everything on it. So that was quite funny. It seemed like we come, round again, like full circle again. And I don't think the record company knew that. They just come out with it, and so we loved it. Yeah. And of course, we managed to catch one off them. So they're making us one each. So yeah.
That always works. Does the record company usually come out with the album covers, or do you guys get any sort of say in what kind of cover?
No, they have usually in the past. A few times we've come up with the ideas and they've been absolute rubbish. And I think actually at one point we got the worst album cover of the year 3 times in a row or something at one point.
Oh, wow.
But, I'm quite proud of that.
So do you have a favorite song on the album? Which, by the way, I listened to the full album the other day and I thought it was fantastic. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's a few on there. Well, I like them. This is, I think, probably the first album that I've actually liked. I like every song. So yeah, it's quite blimey. I like It Is What It Is. Obviously the first one, and I like Are You Ready, because that's pretty rock and roll, that one. And I like Cold Dark Heart. So yeah, all the 3 that are out at the moment, which we didn't actually pick. The record company again, they picked them as singles. So we were quite pleased that they picked those that we like as well. Yeah
it's pretty awesome to see like that you guys have been around, because I know like way back in the day there wasn't that like rocker like girl band, so it's so cool to see that you guys like were on the scene and that you're still doing music, and it seems like you're so excited about it. That's pretty great.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, when we started, the reason why we actually were a girl band in the beginning was because we couldn't find any boys that wanted to play with us. So simple as that, really. I can't blame them really, because we decided we wanted to be in a band, me and Enid, the bass player, before we could actually play anything. So it's sort of to be understood really. But there wasn't any girls around, so any girl bands rather. So we just had to find other girls that were like-minded with us, and that's how we started, and then sort of all learn together and grow up together as a band.
Okay, so when you started the band, you weren't able to play like any instruments or anything like that?
Well, I mean, that basically, but not really good enough to be in a band. But we just, luckily we had a local youth club that were quite supportive of young kids wanting to learn to play. So there was like a room there with all musical instruments in it, and you could go and rehearse there and stuff like that, But then we were lucky enough to meet this fantastic guitarist who was older than us, called Deirdre Cartwright. And she sort of took us under her wing, and sort of with her on board, we were able to actually play proper gigs because she was so brilliant. She sort of brought us up, a bit more. So, and of course, once we found a good drummer and stuff like that, then off we went.
Okay. Do you remember what your first guitar was?
Yes, I do. It was well, actually, what it was my cousin who lived next door, and he was an only child as well as me, and we literally lived next door to each other. So we grew up sort of like brother and sister, but he was a couple of years older. And so he got this guitar, and I never forget it. It was called a Rapier 33, and it was red, and it was sort of like one you could buy in Woolworths or something, real cheap little guitar. And then I wonder what happened to it anyway. But anyway, I remember my mum and dad said to me, "Don't you get any ideas?" And then within the year, of course, Lee had got a better one, and I got that one off him. So that was my very first guitar, Rapier 33. Yeah, and then I went on to a Shergold, which was an English company, and then I went on to a Telecaster, But since then, it's been Gibson's. So yeah.
Okay, nice. So you kind of just climbed up the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got fantastic guitars at the moment. They're called it's like Gibson's Les Paul, but they're called Goddesses. And it's a shame they don't make them anymore, but they're exactly the same as Les Paul's, but sort of, for girls. And they're brilliant. You can't even get them anymore. They stopped making them. I don't know why they did, because even guys that have seen it and played it love it. And so, yeah. I don't know how Kelly used to play her gold top. It weighed a bloody ton, broke your shoulder. But yeah, so I love those guitars. I've got 2 of them, so yeah, it's good. Yeah, but all the others are dotted around the house, under the bed, in the attic, under the stairs. So, yeah. Do you play anything then?
I do. I just started playing about a year ago, but my collection consists of an Ibanez and a Laguna. So my next one is all, but I'm still getting there.
Yeah, great. Good for you. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so you can't have heard of us when we first started out, because you look about 12.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the album, were there any like sort of main themes that you wanted to kind of like explore in the album? I know there was one that kind of sounded like it could have been COVID related, but it kind of sounds like it could have been kind of to anything, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that was our bass player Tracy wrote that when because she lives in Spain, and she lived on the hillside in Spain, and there were so strips there, and they used to have like police helicopters flying over and stuff to make sure you didn't leave your premises and this business. It sounded awful, and she was in the right state, so she wrote that then. And to tell you the truth, we didn't really want anything COVID related on the album, because we thought, oh God, it's in the past now. It seems like a bad dream. But because, as you said, it could relate to other stuff as well, we put it on there. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of crazy to have like helicopters making sure you don't leave your house.
We thought we had it bad here, but it was dreadful there. Yeah.
So when you started the album, how do you kind of like put things together? Do you start with like a riff? Do you guys like come together and kind of figure out what goes on, or?
Well, in the old days, of course, we used to all live virtually, together. We're in London, so it was easy to get together then. But of course now we've all gone, our separate ways. So it's the good old Zoom thing. So it does come in handy. So yeah, every week, me and Jackie, I think it was a Tuesday and a Thursday or a Friday, used to get together and put our ideas together, with each other, and that's how we came up with most of the songs. Yeah.
So do you think your music has changed a lot since, I guess, 45 years ago versus?
No, not really. We're just still playing rock and roll. So, that's it. Yeah. No slow ones particularly. I mean, Cold Dark Heart's pretty slow, but it's heavy anyway. So, that's okay.
Yeah, I quite enjoy that. I kind of like, if I start a rock album, I want to start rocking and finish rocking.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Is there any sort of key messages that you want your fans to hear through your album?
Just get out there and have a good time, really. I mean, that's all we've ever said and done. And, we've managed it for 45 years now, so it is possible. Yeah.
Are there big risks that you had to take on this album that you weren't sure of?
Big risks?
Yep.
No, not really. I mean, it was all pretty plain sailing, really. I mean, basically what happened was the biggest risk was actually getting in the album and recording it, because we're dreadful, because we talk about procrastination. It was only because the record company kept saying, look, you owe us an album, and we kept going, yeah, we'll get around to it, whatever, yeah, of course we will, And then, of course, COVID came along and said that was a couple of years out. And then a couple more years went by. They kept going, well, where's this album then? Oh, yeah, of course. And they said, no, this is it now. You can't get them to do it. We went, oh, blimey, okay. So the studio was booked. So we just had to get on and do it. And I think that's the best way for us. We just needed a big kick up the bum, basically, to get on and do it. So the biggest risk was us actually not being ready in time. But I think it was good for us to actually, I say give a kick up the backside, and it made us get ready.
Would you also say like that was the biggest challenge of the album, is just getting it recorded?
Well, I mean, yeah, same with it, and making sure it's good. I mean, that's the main thing, because we had loads of ideas, obviously, even though we weren't particularly writing, we still, I was jotting down ideas, and ideas like It Is What It Is in my head. I've had that in my head for about 2 years, so that was there already, and bits and pieces. And Jackie's always writing. She's got her own little studio. So it was sort of, and then of course we wrote with other people as well. So it wasn't too bad in the end to get it all together. And it was quite exciting. It's much more fresh, I think, when you do it like that anyway.
Okay. And do you and Jackie, are you the two like main songwriters of the group?
Well, yeah. We keep trying to get Denise involved, but she's too bloody lazy. So She just, whatever. So, but Tracy's written a couple, contributed to it on this one as well, so that was good.
Yeah, that definitely is good.
Yeah.
And I think you said time flies differently for you guys. You haven't really thought about a tour yet, but how do you know which songs you're going to include in your live performance? Is that something that you get to pick out?
Well, we've already talked about it because we are supposed to be touring America in November. How that's going to come off, I have no idea. But we're definitely coming to America in March because we're already booked on that Hell's Heroes festival thing. That's in March. So, and they're booking now, as I say, another British tour in February. So we have got to, of course, well, before we know it, that we're coming up anyway, So yeah, we've already spoken about it. I think it's going to be It Is What It Is, Are You Ready? And possibly, oh bloody hell, what's it called? Up to No Good. Yeah. Free rabble rousing ones.
Well, that sounds exciting. I know we're excited to have you back, and there's a lot of good bands in the festival, so it sounds like a really good time.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, fingers crossed. We're looking forward to it.
Well, I do want to say appreciate your time and thank you for doing this interview. But I do have one last question for you. Do you have anything you want to say to your current fans, new fans, just kind of about the album?
Well, hopefully you'll go out and get the record. Try not to nick it. Try not to steal it. Although if you do, you do. But hopefully, if you go out and get our record, shows how old I am there. Hopefully, you're going to love it as much as we do, and we really appreciate it if you do.
Well, we do appreciate your music as well. Like I said, I listened to the album; it's fantastic. Make sure you buy it so you support the artist.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's great, Alex. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm glad everything worked out at the end with the Zoom.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, of course, no rest for the wicked. I've got another few coming up now, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be running around the house again, trying to find a good spot again. I expect. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and again.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for your support. Big kisses. All right then. See ya. Hopefully bump into you at some point in the world.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. All right then. Take care. Thank you. Bye. Cheers. Bye.